Well, good morning, everybody. Hope you're all doing fantastically well. It is Connor. We're back with another video on the channel. Today, we're going to be discussing something when it comes to obviously the three things about the club and what we learned yesterday, but it's going to be on a little bit more of a grander scale as there are changes afoot at Leeds United as there's key personnel at the top of the club leaving. And I do wonder if there's going to be a little bit of a change in policy. Stay with me through this one, everybody, as we get into it. What do we know now? Well, allegedly, apparently, according to people maybe who we don't believe on occasion, but this one seems to be a pretty clear one and indicative one. Gretel Steinson has left the club to almost take up a little bit of a different role in Red Bull's sort of strategy towards the top of their pyramid. Now, this has also been confirmed by Leeds United journalists, but there's another person on this sort of conversation flank that I wanted to discuss as well, who allegedly is also leaving the club after a very, very short stint. So Steinson moving on doesn't appear to be too gargantuan in terms of a claim to crazy, really. You know, people move on. I mean, he's not been here that long. What's it been? Less than 2 years since sort of he came in, and Hammond was in there as well, and Miles came in the January, didn't he? But Jordan Miles is also, according to Team Talk, leaving the club. Now, this is so interesting right now. Look, could I be being maybe a little bit knee-jerk here and a little bit speculative? Yes. But it just feels odd, two people at the top of the club leaving at this moment in time, two people who have a big hand in recruitment as well. And stay with me here. I wonder if maybe there has been a little bit of issues with recruitment when it comes to who Daniel Farke likes, who he doesn't like. We know at Norwich there was a little bit of dispute at points between him and Stuart Webber. I think that's quite well known. And Daniel Farke really got a hand on recruitment. You know, Josh Sargent being absolutely symptomatic of that. Farke would not let that one go, and the club spent as much money as they did on Josh Sargent because of Daniel Farke. And apparently there was a few problems in the boardroom about that one, but Farke got his man. So you just wonder if when you're looking at someone like Isaac Schmidt, it wouldn't surprise me if top down there's probably questions to Daniel Farke, especially at this moment in time when Byram's been coming in, as opposed to Isaac Schmidt. There's probably been a few questions from top down. Well, what's going on with Schmidt? And that wouldn't surprise me. Obviously, we know that happens in football. I don't think we can be naive enough to think it doesn't. But I'm wondering now with Miles and Steinson leaving, if there's going to be a little bit more of a central focus. Now, what this could mean is Leeds, we know Adam Davis is apparently stepping up to replace Jordan Miles. You just wonder whether or not maybe there's been a little bit of, not of a falling out, but there's been a little conversation where it's, I'm the manager, I'm picking the side, and the recruitment side and the strategy from that perspective have been like, well, look, we've scouted this guy. Why are you not playing him when we have a left option, a right option, and then even in the games, you're not bringing him on for more than a minute or two? And you saw yesterday, this is why it throws up a real interesting conversation. He's not a bad player. He's not a bad player. You can already tell. He wasn't on for long, but he's a good player. You can tell in those central spaces, linking up with the central midfielder, but the striker as well. I thought when he came on, his level on the ball was very good. And I thought, interesting, really, really interesting. Did more than Manor Solomon, didn't he, in the minutes that he was on? But yeah, I'm very intrigued by this. And maybe when I say there's more of a central focus, they got that in Norwich a little bit when Norwich went into the Premier League. And I'm wondering whether or not there's more of a central focus as to Daniel Farke having more of a say on the players, because obviously Leeds had headed up the framework and the structure to help Daniel Farke. But I just wonder whether, obviously, with some disputes that happened last year, when you look at players like Jed Spence and going out and getting Connor Roberts and Isaac Schmidt right now and Jaden Anthony, there's been a fair few signings of which I believe there would have been problems in the boardroom, as in, why have we got him, or why is he not playing? And maybe some discussion there. Definitely something to keep an eye on there. But two of the head of recruitments leaving the club, I think is absolutely fascinating. Does it mean Leeds are going to be taking a different line when it comes to manager-focused recruitment, or will Leeds just go out and get an actual sort of like director of football, head of recruitment sort of thing? Because with Adam Davis being promoted, of course, that still means that Steinson needs to be replaced. And if he's not replaced, maybe that focus is going to be a little bit more on Daniel Farke. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. As well, you can see on the thumbnail, everybody, that Archie Brown has been linked with Leeds United yet again. Obviously, we know Brown is versatile. You know, we were after him in the summer months, or we were said to be after him in the summer months, a young player who has levels to go. Fulham have been linked with him. Brighton have been linked with him. But once again, it goes all the way back to Schmidt, and it goes to that play with versatility, which we have in Isaac Schmidt, left back, right back, central midfield. You know, we saw even yesterday, left wing. You know, his ability to just get the ball on his weaker foot, but his stronger foot as well, and do well, shift it nicely, and have sort of a good level about him, a good footballing brain as well. Even though he didn't have a lot to do, but once again, you've got that in Isaac Schmidt. And Archie Brown does show up, obviously, in terms of being one of the top prospects. And as I've just mentioned, Leeds were apparently in for him in the summer months. But why is this being linked? And it's obviously been linked by TBR. It's been linked by Team Talk, of course. But if we were to do that again, that just, to me, makes absolutely no sense when you've got a player like that. And that's what throws up the question once again of, is there a little bit more of a problem with Schmidt? And I would suggest that maybe there is a bit of a problem with Schmidt, because you saw yesterday, I'm not saying he was world class or anything like that, everybody, but you can tell a footballer when they play. We all said it with Gilavodji, and it's very, very similar, I thought, with Isaac Schmidt yesterday. So what has been the case? Because he's been fit. He was playing in the Europa Conference League qualifiers. He was available. He was on the bench, obviously, so he wasn't injured or anything like that. So it's baffling. It is very, very baffling when you saw what you saw yesterday. So maybe there's been a few conversations there, but we'll wait and see. I mean, we'll never figure out. We always have to speculate to accumulate here when it comes to Leeds. But yeah, Archie Brown makes no sense to me. But you know, according to TBR and Team Talk, Leeds are linked with him this morning, and you've seen as well Vigouroux at this moment in time, who is a Swansea goalkeeper, who is, I just feel, guys, I mean, when it comes to if it's more of a managerial focus, I mean, Daniel Farke has been on record by saying Illan Mele is the best keeper in the division. So I fully expect us to stay with this guy. I expect Illan Mele to start with us in the Premier League. This is what I think is going to happen again, which I think is going to be a big problem if Leeds do get there with just the manager doing that. You know, that just should not be happening. In 2025 it would be. But Vigouroux is doing so unbelievably well at Swansea at this moment in time. There's an argument that aside from Cooper, he is the best keeper in this division at the minute. The lad in between the sticks for Oxford is doing extremely well as well. But his save percentage is in the 80s, I believe. He's got, I think it's like 5-6 clean sheets, but we can't just talk about clean sheets, obviously, because I've mentioned on here before that, you know, I don't give Illan Mele as much credit because because the ball doesn't get to him. So when Leeds are dominating games, how can you give him a tick for clean sheets when the ball's barely getting to him? But Vigouroux is doing so well this season, 30 years of age, and I just feel it'd be the perfect signing, a perfect signing. It's not going to be a lot of money. We've already established relations with Swansea over the years, so I just feel that one, and we're playing them, aren't we? Very, very soon as well, so we'll be able to get a real look at him. But his save percentages, goals prevented are very good in terms of data. Swansea's starting goalkeeper right now, experienced at Leyton Orient, obviously Burnley, but he just seems like one who is just an open goal, another open goal for Leeds to go and do. Obviously, we have the regulars of which we mention sort of all the time on the channel who are available. But I wonder whether or not Leeds are going to look at a goalkeeper in the January months. It's not saying Illan Mele did anything wrong yesterday, but yeah, a compilation went round of him the other day, and I was thinking to myself, my goodness, even this season, and you're looking at the save percentage and the goals prevented, and unfortunately the metric is he's in the bottom 10, I think bottom 6 for the goals prevented as well. So that is the big outlier, and the save percentages of every other goalkeeper in the division. You know, you've got West Brom, Palmer, you've got Cooper at Sheffield United, and you've got Patterson as well, all at the very top when it comes to that. So, you know, it does indicate that maybe is a problem at Leeds United, and how many points would we have now if with all respect, it wasn't down to Illan Mele. But listen, everybody, that's the sort of news today. I'm really interested to hear what you think on this one. Literally purely because we've seen Schmidt. The 3 things that we learned yesterday has been compiled in this one sort of thing, but I wanted to look a little bit more at the greater good when it comes to Leeds right now, and speculating to accumulate, of course. But let me know what you think in the conversation below. What do you think is going on? It's been an absolute pleasure, everybody. Like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you in a bit.